Hello, welcome everyone. Can you hear me okay? If Let me know if you can see my screen and let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, Dave, you're good.
Good. Okay. Well, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. My name's Dave Brunson. I'm the HOC homeownership counselor here that helped this person get this home built. It's a beautiful home. I'm out of our Aurora, Oregon branch here near Portland. Joe Becerra, my colleague and homeownership counselor, is going to be helping me co-host. He's going to be helping me with any questions that you guys have. We like questions, so be sure and do the Q&A tab at the bottom of the screen. So I'm pretty excited to show you the walkthrough of this Winchester Plan with Traditions exterior. We'll talk about the house in general and upgrades chosen in the house. Yeah, be sure and use that Q&A tab at the bottom of the screen. That is very important because if you have questions, then others on this call will probably have the same questions. The Winchester model comes in 5 different exteriors: classic, tradition, signature, craftsman, and farmhouse. He did the traditions, but he added a little craftsman touch to the exterior, which you'll see in the
You want to share your screen and show that
video. Share my
show them.
so now what I do, join a meeting.
Click out of that, I think. You're already in the meeting, aren't you? No, no, just X out. Hit cancel.
Technical difficulties here, if you can hear me.
So now you can show them the different exterior options.
Oh, okay. So we're back to the exterior options here. They did the traditions, but I'll show you here. The Winchester can be the classic exterior, which is our least expensive. And then traditions, which this customer chose. Signature would be another exterior that you could choose. Craftsman. And you'll notice what he did. He went with some craftsman exterior here when we show the video. He added that to the traditions. And also we have the farmhouse, which has been a very popular model for us. So what I plan to do here is show you, let's see here, show you the floor plan. This is your standard floor plan of the model home. So he chose the kitchen in the front. You also have a choice to choose the kitchen in the back, but he chose it in the front. He also had us move this wall back so that he has more square footage. And actually we added another 3 foot of square footage in the dining, great room, and kitchen area. In other words, we spread the house out a little bit there. So that's your standard floor plan. I'll show you here. Let's see here. I'll have to go back here. There we go. So this is the floor plan that we built, and you'll notice here that we moved this wall back. We also added a patio door off of bedroom 2, and at the end of the video, you'll see why. There's quite a slope and view there, and he's going to put a patio back there, so he wanted that. Yeah, so click back on that. So let's watch the video here, and I'm going to just kind of run through the video, and I'll make some comments, and then be sure and put your question and answers questions at the bottom. And then after we run through the video, we'll kind of go through it again and stop. Some people like us just to go right straight through there, so we'll do that. Here we go. So you'll notice that there is some craftsman exterior there on the front. We added the stove ourselves there. We kind of reconfigured the windows. We enlarged that great room by 3 feet. He's got the 9-foot ceiling height plus vault. The kitchen, he stayed with our standard Formica countertops, our standard appliance package, single bowl sink here. Upgraded the cabinets and the bronze hardware. Looks very, very nice. So now we're going to travel back to the second and the third bedroom, I believe, is coming up next, and the second bathroom. He upgraded the flooring to a laminate flooring there. And I think, if I remember right, he did that through the whole house here. So, yep. Craftsman trim he did throughout the house. You can kind of see it good in this bedroom here. This is the bedroom on the front of the house. He added the Craftsman trim. Kind of an interesting thing that he did in the bathroom here is he did a tile shower in bath 2. So you're going to see the same thing in the primary suite a little later. Very nice tile shower there. And then in the second bedroom off of the back of the house, we added a patio door. At the very end of this video, you'll see why. He's going to be building a deck. And it's a single guy, so he wanted to build a deck, and he'll be able to walk out on the deck from this bedroom and also from the great room. Now you'll see this other patio door here, so those would all, there would be a deck eventually out there. He did the fan feature there in the ceiling. Now we're going to go back to the primary suite, followed by the laundry area. So he really wanted to have a great view out of these windows. So we put the windows to open here at the bottom so that he had a clear, he's got a beautiful view of the mountains and different things out that window there in the primary suite. Craftsman trim again, laminate flooring. Then we go into the primary suite bathroom here. He elected to have only one sink. Cabinets are upgraded, bronze features. Large walk-in closet. We don't do the wire racks that a lot of builders do. You got a good solid shelf and pole in the closet there. Now you're going to see the other tiled shower. So now we're going to swing around, I believe, and go into the laundry area, which is straight back. And that door there leads to the garage. So really a nice laundry area here. It's going to swing around to the back. There we go. I'm going to see if I can pause it. It's not letting me pause it. Okay. There we go. All right. So Joe, are we getting any questions?
Yeah, Dave, let's restart the video and let it run.
Okay.
And then we'll take some questions.
We'll restart the video here. And I'm trying to get to where I can pause it here. Hang on a There we go. There we go then. Okay. So let me know when I need to pause it.
Do you want to restart it?
Yeah, I just restarted it. Let's do it again here. There we go. Did you have a question on the exterior?
My side is not restarted, but maybe everybody else can see the restart. It's mine's still on the back of the home.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Is it showing now?
Let me go take a look.
Well, yours isn't. Let's see here.
Still sharing your screen. Resume share again. See up there? Somehow you stop sharing.
Oh,
Up top.
Right here.
Resume share. Yep.
okay.
Let's start it over.
All right. So we're going to start the video over here again. A little technical difficulty there. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
And then let's go ahead and take some questions, Dave. One of the first questions is from Bob, and he wants to know if the garage can be made taller to about 10 feet.
No, I apologize, Joe. I couldn't even hear you.
Okay. So can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah.
So Bob would like to know, can the garage be made taller to about 10 feet?
I would say that's a possibility, but it might require the rest of the house to be raised to 10 feet instead of 9. You get into some structural things there. I'm not going to say it couldn't be done. I think it could be, but it would be more than just it could be more than just raising the garage 10 feet. So the house is already raised 9, so we would need to raise the whole house probably another foot to do that. But I think it's doable.
Yeah. And then we have another question. Can you customize the house to meet ADA compliant?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a problem with that. Just let us know exactly what you want. I've done a lot of ADA, features in homes, and if you want it to be compliant, that should not be a problem.
Okay, and then Katie had a question about what floor is that, but I'm not sure which room she was talking about. So I apologize, Katie. If you can send it back, we'll answer it.
Well, I think the flooring in the whole house it's a laminate flooring. I don't have exactly the brand and the color. I might be able to look that up for you here in just a little bit here. Let's see here, but that is a laminate flooring, so they didn't go with the standard vinyl or carpet. So hopefully that answers your question for the moment.
We'll look that one up, Dave. So David has a question. The great room was enlarged by 3 feet. What did that add to the cost?
Okay, I can tell you here. I can give you an estimate because this house was built over, about a year ago, and pricing hasn't went up. But we did several things. We made the entry wider. We flipped the dining room and the great room, which I forgot to mention. We added a closet in the entry with a bypass door. We made the porch 3 foot wider. So you would probably be looking at around 11,000, somewhere in there, as an estimate.
Yeah, David. So one way to look at it is whenever you're going to add square footage, usually it can just be like a standard, $125 per square foot to add additional living space. But like Dave was mentioning, if that enlarging the area creates, you have to, move a wall or, move something that's already there, that could also increase the cost. But in general, it's about 125, 135 a square foot to just add general living space. And then Dave, Brian wants to know, what was the covered patio cost?
The covered patio. I don't believe they've done a covered patio. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Let's look at this. Let's look at the back of the house here. No, Yeah, there is no covered back patio. Are you talking about redoing the front? That would be my question.
Not sure, maybe he'll ask again and we'll get
Okay.
clarification on what he's asking. And so Heidi wants to know, are there options to move the garage for a side entry so that the garage door isn't part of the front of the house, but is on the side?
Absolutely. We do that all the time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then Brian has another question. Can the garage be enlarged to a 3-car garage?
Yeah, we can normally add another bay onto that. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, and then Dave, you could just let the video run if you want.
Okay. Let me just let it run here. Okay.
Maybe turn the music down though. Yeah. Okay. And then another question, can you put the house on a concrete instead of raised?
Okay, when I'm letting the video run, the music's so loud I can't hear you, Joe. So go ahead, ask me again.
Can you put the house on concrete instead of raised?
On concrete.
So I think they're asking if we can just build on a concrete slab.
No, we cannot build on a slab. Adair has never done that. It's not a really a good way to go here in Oregon. But yeah, we do not build on a slab. So it's a raised foundation.
Okay. And then Dave, is there any way you can restart the video without the music?
I don't know. Let's see here. Let me try it here. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so you could just let it run. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Dave. And then let me just read a couple more questions here. Okay, so Elizabeth is asking, what advantage does this plan have over the Douglas plan in terms of design and functionality? For example, does it have more windows, etc.? Also, can the master room be flipped to the other side and the garage stay on the same side? Thank you.
Okay, well, I would have to almost pull the Douglas up and hold them side by side, but you got to realize that the Winchester is a lot larger home in square footage. And this home has had square footage added to it. So if you're interested in the Douglas and you want to make some changes, you want to add square footage, you want to do that flip, that's totally possible.
Yeah, and so Elizabeth, I would say, whatever region you're building in, and if you're not sure, you can call any Adair office and just tell them where you're considering building, and we can direct you to the correct office. And you could just contact a home ownership counselor there and kind of set up a time to, even on the phone, maybe, or preferably in person, just kind of get the Douglas and Winchester and side by side and compare them to see what kind of functionality and design you're going for. And like Dave said, you might go Winchester, you might go Douglas, or you might modify the Douglas to be a little bit more like the Winchester. And like Dave said, you can flip the master to be on the other side and the garage stay on the same side. More than likely, there's going to be some structural changes that may incur some more costs there, but you can always explore that for sure. And then let me see here. And then Terry wants to know, can you talk about how the 512 suite might be added to this house?
Yes, yeah. So the 512 suite is perfect. Let me, I'll come back to the video. I want to kind of look at that and pause it here. Okay. So the 512 suite is normally added to the side of the garage. So when you're looking at the garage, you see the electrical there. That would be the side that you would add the 512 suite to. The back door of the 512 suite would go into the garage. And that also would give, if they wanted to drive a car in there, they could also come in their back door. So yeah, no problem. So we'll start the video back here.
And then Brian wanted to know how much for a covered patio in the back of the Winchester, which is detailed. So he's just asking in general for the patio cover, how much is it if you want to add it to the Winchester?
I would guess right now, I don't have prices in front of me, but somewhere around 14,000.
Okay. And that's usually it, Brian. Usually it's an established price for a certain dimension for that particular home. And again, wherever you're building, the prices could vary a little bit. So you'd want to contact there. But then obviously, if you wanted to extend it further, then you could do that as well and get the price modified and then get that before you decide whether you wanted to add it or not. Darlene, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, the price I mentioned would probably cover our standard 14 by 12 foot, patio cover. So if you want to make it larger than that, that would be a custom option, but we can do it, no problem.
Yeah, and then Darlene wants to know, do we build on slab in Arizona?
I'm pretty sure we do. I think that's pretty much all they do there, I believe, but I'm not real familiar with Arizona, but I think I'm 99% correct there.
Good. And then we have another question. As to increasing the garage height, can you lower the floor instead of raising the ceiling? So I would say that the answer to that is going to really be based on your property. So what happens is when you're considering building and you start communication with the homeownership counselor in your region, eventually they'll show you how you can get a complimentary site visit by a construction expert to come out to your property. And then once he's visually walking the property with you and maybe determining any type of sloping that may or may not be there, along with the excavator, they can determine what's the most economical way to do something like that. But those are both options, yes.
Yeah, I would say that it's possible, but yeah, you would need a site visit because you could have a lot of water issues or something,
Yeah, exactly. And then Dave, somebody asked, what is a 512 suite?
Oh, it's a little 8 auxiliary unit dwelling little house that we add to there. 512 square feet. It has a decent sized bedroom, a good sized great room living area with a little kitchenette, and it has one bathroom there, and there's a spot for a stackable washer and dryer. So it's really a pretty nice little suite. I've done several for customers, and they have parents or whatever that needs their own place.
And then Will is asking if we can recommend a similar company on the East Coast. The military is assigning him to Virginia. Will, I personally don't have one. If you do me a favor and just, again, whichever local branch is near you with Adair, give them a call. And what we can do is we can maybe try to find out through our corporate if we have anybody we recommend. But off the top of my head, I just don't know of anybody in Virginia that we recommend.
Yeah.
For on the East Coast, yeah. Dave, Carol wants to know, how big is the house after the square footage was added?
Oh, okay, good question, but I think we can answer it here. Hang on a second. Let's see, let me move this down for a second. Okay, let me go to the next screen here. Oh, where's our? Oh. Here we go. Move this back up. Let's look at this. So we're at 1,740 square feet.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Let me just see here. Okay, Terry wants to know, how have the labor shortages and delays in the supply of materials impacted your ability to stay on schedule?
I think if you compared us with other builders, we're doing pretty well. Not to say that we haven't had some items that's impacted us. I mean, the whole industry from coast to coast. And we never know from month to month, year to year, what material might be slowed up. But we're trying to stay ahead of it as much as we can. I think so far it's impacted us very little, but some.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And then also another question, please explain your standard heating options like heat pump with electric or natural gas as a heat source.
Yeah, so when you look at a price of an Adair home, it does include your heating and cooling. So you have a choice of electric furnace and heat pump, You have a choice of natural gas and AC. You have a choice of propane and AC. And you also, I believe, still have a choice for a ductless heating system if you would like.
Okay. And then Esther wants to know, is the price of your plans, does it include preparing the land, like demolish an old garage, cut some trees down, grading and leveling? If you don't, can you recommend contractors to do this?
Okay. No, it doesn't. There's three costs to building your home. There's the cost of your property, and your site prep is what you're referring to there, getting the site ready so that we can come in and build. That price would also, you need to, it would pay for your building permits. So you got your land, your site prep and permits, and then your house. And whenever we do a site visit, we have a whole list of contractors that we highly recommend. You don't have to use them, but we help you with getting in contact and trying to make that a real smooth transition for you to get that cost.
Yeah, and then Esther, the reason that Adair doesn't include that is so you have the opportunity to work directly with third-party wholesalers and not have to pay a builder fee for that land preparation. So even though we come out and look at your property and assist you with what needs to be done and connect you with contractors that will get the work done for you at reasonable prices and great quality work, you're not having to pay an Adair a fee for that. So it's a big advantage to do that on your own, especially when Adair assists you all the way through. And then David says, did I catch that is a site, that the site visit is complimentary? He's basically asking, he wants to know what he should do before he gets going, and he's not ready to say yes or no on a decision, but would like to get a general idea of what can be done with your lot. So go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so our site visits are complimentary. In other words, they don't cost you anything, where all other builders charge up front. But we can't have our guys running around doing complimentary site visits and we don't even know if you can build. So when you come in and sit down with your home ownership counselor, he's going to mention some things. You need to have proof of funds for your land, your site prep, and your house. We need to be able to see that. We need to have an accepted earnest money agreement on the land. And then there's some other items. There's about 4 items, major items that we need, but they only make sense because, and then we'll come out and do a complimentary site visit for you. But you have to be at least committed to that point.
So for you, David, if that's already your property, you would want to talk to the home ownership counselor in your area and then let them know what they're needing for you to schedule a free complimentary site visit, and we could get out there and help you with that.
Yeah, site visits do cost us. So I think on the average, $1,000, in some cases more if we got to travel. So we don't just hand them out like cookies.
And then Bob says what he meant to ask was, can you get 10-foot garage doors?
Can we get 10-foot garage doors? I don't see a problem with getting 10-foot garage doors. That shouldn't be a problem.
I think that could be done, Bob, for sure.
Yeah.
And then Elizabeth wants to know if we can share the total and final price of this house, and how much did the homeowner have to pay separately for site development and other aspects, if you can share this.
You know, I really don't have all of that in front of me. You would really want to have an updated final price on the house because pricing went up quite a bit since this one was built. I'm kind of looking at my paperwork here, and I don't have the final price that they paid, but you can definitely sit down with your homeownership counselor, and you know, we can give you kind of an estimated cost. But his site prep, I remember, was more than normal because it's quite a place. It's, you know, it's just quite a place to put a house. But he was able to do it. But I apologize. I don't have those figures for you.
And then Elizabeth, just it varies from lot to lot. So even if you had lots right next to each other and you're building the exact same home, there's a potential that those two site development costs could still be different. So it just varies a lot on that, but definitely we can assist you with finding that out before you commit to buying the property if you haven't bought it yet, or to ever signing anything with Adair or giving us any money up front. We could help you determine all those costs, like I said, with that complimentary site visit and then working with your home ownership counselor to get that budget established. Let me see. Can you build the external of the house with fire resistant materials?
Well, our standard exterior is hardy, which is fire resistant, you know. So yeah, that comes standard in your home. If you wanted something else, we could probably do it, but we would need to know exactly what you want there.
Thanks, Dave. And then Brian is asking, who should I contact in Lincoln City when my wife visits there in the first week of April? So Brian, if you're able to write down this number, otherwise you can call any local office and ask for the Lincoln City branch number, but I'll give it to you right this second. Their direct number is 541-283-4069. And they have two great people that work in that office. So you'll end up working with one of them to kind of get established in how you can determine what you're considering doing. And then David wants to know, did they know the price of this house before it was built? Did they add changes after the initial cost was given?
Yes, whenever you or them come in and order a home, all your price is detailed out. So they knew exactly what the house was going to cost them. So that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, David, like Dave said earlier, there's three numbers in your build: land, site development, house. And so as long as you don't go a full custom route of a home, you would be able to determine all three of those costs before you ever go forward.
Exactly.
And then Esther wants to know, how many feet wide is a standard one-door garage?
A one-car garage?
Yeah.
When we add a third bay, I think it's 12 feet wide and it's about 20 feet deep. That's our typical.
Okay. And then we have another question here. Can you talk about the relationship between your Adair construction supervisor and your subs?
Can we talk about what?
The relationship between your Adair construction supervisor and then the subcontractors.
Well, the subcontractors have to build the home to the standards, of our guy there. So they have most cases I know they have a really good relationship because they know that they need to build to our standards.
Okay. So we still have some more time here. If anybody's got more questions, please send us more questions. And then Dave, we have another question here. It says, what is the price for the turnkey package associated with the Winchester home?
The turnkey package?
Yeah.
That's a very good question. I'll see if I can look it up here real quick.
I actually have it here, Dave. So okay. For the Winchester, it's $38,050. And then Elizabeth, again, you just, that's in this region. So it varies from region to region. That's why it's like super important for you to just reach out to your local branch and then get prices in that region established, because they do vary in different regions.
Yeah.
But Dave and I are in the North Willamette Valley region, so that's what it would cost in our region for the Winchester. And then you also, the important reason to even contact them as well is because then you can really get definitive on what that turnkey package includes. Let's see. Bob wants to know how long usually to complete the build.
Well, typically we like to say anywhere from 11 to 13 months, but we do try to beat that when we can. The longer it takes us to build your home, the more it's going to cost us. So we have no incentive to not try and get it done. But typically, I would say 10 to 13 months.
Yeah. And then Bob, what that is, it also varies from region to region, because even within the same region, different jurisdictions, meaning the county or city you're building in, take longer time to maybe approve permits or go through the process. So that's all a factor that Adair does not control. So we're always cautious not to overpromise. But I do know that in most of our regions, it's about 150 to 150 to 160 days to complete the home once foundation is poured. It's just getting through the jurisdictional process that we need to make sure we're not overpromising, because it's so specific. But those are things that when you're working with your home ownership counselor and you got a certain jurisdiction you're working with, we'll be able to help with determining what our estimated time is a lot better. A couple of people asked what the turnkey package includes. Again, Dave, you can touch on that if you want, but I really recommend that they just kind of contact the local office, because it's a little bit more detailed, and
yeah,
so you want to make sure it's specific to your region. It could be a little bit different.
Right. So whenever we price a turnkey project ahead of time, we have no idea, for example, how much your building permits are going to be. For example, in our area, building permits could be anywhere from 3,000 to 60. So turnkey never includes the cost of your building permits, because we don't know ahead of time what that cost is going to be. Same thing with your permanent power. I mean, you might buy 5 acres and want to build on the back part of that. Well, power can cost a lot of money if you're, so there's a few items like your water source and your power source, and your septic source or sewer source that's not included, but it does, turnkey is a great way to go because we handle everything else.
Thanks, Dave. And then Brian wants to know, is there a basement in the Winchester house or just a crawl space?
Yeah, it's just a crawl space. If you wanted to do a basement, we could certainly do it, but it's just a crawl space.
Thank you, Dave. So again, we do have more time scheduled. We highly recommend, if you have a question, please send it in. We'll do our best to answer it. Let's see if any more questions come in here, Dave.
Okay.
None so far, but let's give it a minute or so to see if anybody comes up with any more questions here.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, it looks like, Thomas, what is everything else in the turnkey?
I mean, you're asking what all is included?
Yeah, yeah. They're asking what's all included in the turnkey package.
Hang on a second here. Let's see here. Maybe the easiest way to answer that is we take care of everything but those things that I mentioned, you know. So we're going to do the excavation, we're going to do your hookups to your water and your power, as long as they're within 50 feet of the build. So the only thing you're going to need to concern yourself with under turnkey really is your building permit cost, your permanent power, your sewer or septic, and your water source. And there could be some other items, but they're detailed out in the turnkey package. I don't have that in front of me, but again, you can talk to your HOC and we can certainly explain that. But it's a great way for people who really don't have a lot of time, you know, to mess with site prep. It's good for people who just don't really want to do, you know, gather bids and that type of thing. So it is a great way to go, but it does cost more to go turnkey than if you were to do all those, you know, get the bids yourself. So there is a cost for us to manage that.
And then Esther wants to know, what is the best foundation for a street level land?
What is the best foundation? Well, we do a crawl space with a cement foundation and it should work fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Brian wants to know, do you have any photos of homes you have built in the Newport region? Again, Brian, what I would do is contact that Lincoln City office, which builds in the Newport area, and see if they're able to provide any photos. Okay, what about interior and exterior painting, steps and stoops?
Well, the interior painting is included, interior and exterior painting is included in the price of the home, but they're specifically asking about painting steps. So any exterior concrete or wooding would be your responsibility. We don't do that. So you would have to paint those yourself.
David, we do have some more minutes and someone is asking if you can just restart the tour again, the video.
Oh,
So
sure.
we'll do that again.
All right, we're gonna do it right now. There we go.
Elizabeth wants to know, is a metal roof an option and what would the price increase be?
Well, I can say that I wish we had a metal roof option because we do get that question from time to time. We do not offer a metal roof, and the reason for that is we need a roofing company that can definitely commit to being there to put that metal roof on when it's time for it to go on. And we cannot find metal roof companies that will commit to that our time. So therefore, we don't offer metal roofs, and metal roofs comes in a different range of pricing. So if we were to offer metal roofs, we would want to choose one that's really good and has a good warranty. But I mean, you could easily be adding another 10, 20,000 to your build.
And Elizabeth, again, that is for our region. Other regions of Adair do provide offer metal roofs. And so it's just important wherever you're thinking about building to make a contact with that local office and ask your specific questions, because we'll definitely try our best to get whatever you need done for your home. And then Thomas is asking one that's kind of a tough one to just answer, and I don't know if we want to, but Thomas, I'll respect your question and ask it for Dave. What is the advantage of Adair versus Highline homes?
Okay, well, I would say what you need to do is visit both, and you're going to find out by visiting both just the value. I think Adair has a much greater value, but I don't get into knocking any other builder. I don't think that's right. I think what you need to do is your own research there. I think the whole building process with Adair, you'd be a lot more happy with. But like I say, I think you need to do your own research there.
Thanks, Dave. I think that's a great one. I mean, you really just want, if you're considering different builders, just side by side compare them. And I think the advantage of Adair just kind of sticks out right away if you're just
absolutely
evaluating. And again, Thomas, once you're working with the home ownership counselor, they can detail a little bit more as your questions come up or what you're considering, what you're gathering in your research. They can touch more on it if you're trying to just side by side compare. And then Dave, Brian wants to know, why does your home video exterior tour look nothing like the Winchester plan on your website?
Because of all the changes that he made. So let me pull that back up here. Let's see if I can do that. So there's the standard that you see on the website right here, but he made a lot of changes. So with any of our homes, you can add square footage. You can make changes to the exterior. You can make changes to windows and doors, which he did.
And Dave, sorry to interrupt, but it sounds like he's asking more specifically to the exterior look.
Oh, well, the exterior look. Okay, let's hang on here. Let me get back to the video here. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to pause it right here. So this is the traditions, but he went with the craftsman look in the front. Okay. So he paid extra to have the craftsman look. And it was less expensive for him to do that than go with the whole craftsman for the whole house. Does that answer, I hope?
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, he basically took one of our exterior options and then modified it with a little touch of another option to create his own look there. Yeah. And then can you talk about the major brands you use for roofing, cabinets, paint, plumbing, etc.?
Well, we use ICO Roofing, since that was your first one on your list. They're the largest roofer company in the world right now. And we use the architectural style, algae resistant. They have a great warranty. We've owned our own cabinet shop for all 53 years we've been in business. The advantage there is cabinets aren't sitting in a box. We're not going to build your cabinets until you order your home. So with our cabinets, you can add all kinds of things there to make it different than standard. And so when you order the home, that order for your cabinets goes to our cabinet shop, and they can make those changes to the cabinets. And we use all name brand items in the house. So all of them have their own warranties also.
And Elizabeth is asking, what do you tell customers your price per square foot is?
We don't go by square foot, we go by cost of materials and labor. So for example, if you go to the Winchester here, which I'm pulling up here, down here, let's say that you decided to build the Traditions at $242,999. You'll see over here on the left, the square footage is 1,560 square foot. So divide 1,560 square foot into that, and you'll have your price per square foot. So if you want to know a price per square foot, you can figure that yourself very easily. Mm-hmm. We don't go by square footage. We go by cost of material and labor.
And then Brian is asking, who should I ask for in the Lincoln City office? So Brian, we have two excellent reps there. You can just call that main number, and I'm not sure how they'll determine who you work with, maybe who's there, maybe, but you'll be good with either one of them. So, have a lot of confidence. You can call directly into Lincoln City and get some great help. Elizabeth wants to know, what is the average Adair price per square foot for a new home? Again, kind of like Dave said, Elizabeth, you just kind of, whichever plan you're looking at, they're going to vary a little bit, but you just take the total price based on the exterior option you want for that particular plan, divide it by the square feet, and there's your base price for square foot per square foot price. And then, of course, if you go through the process, and then if you're trying to determine, okay, well, I mean, with site development and all those things as well, that's why you kind of go through the process of establishing your site development budget. So that way you can put it all together and then do the math and see what it's coming out to. Any more questions at all? We got a little bit more time, and we'd like to answer whatever questions we can. Trish wants to know, do you help people find appropriate developed land? Do you go over entire budgets?
So yeah, Adair's never owned land in all 53 years. So to help you find land, we have realtor partners, some really good ones that can help you look for property. They don't have a magic wand. If you've been looking for property, it's kind of tough out there. But I tell you what, we're busy as ever and people are finding it. But the way to help you find land is we do have some realtor partners that can help you. And what was the second part of that question, Joe?
Do you go over the entire budget? I imagine they're saying before you make a decision, do you go over the entire
budget?
Budget?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you first meet with your home ownership counselor, we're going to go over that whole budget there. And before you ever are committed to order a home or anything, you're going to know right to the penny how much your house costs.
Thanks, Dave. And then David wants to know, is there wiring for computer and TV included?
There is typically two places for your TV, the great room and the primary suite. You can add more if you want. As far as low voltage wiring for cable, I think there is two of those also, but you can, that's the only thing that a homeowner can do in our home when it's in the framing stage, is you can run your own low voltage wiring to wherever you want. So that's kind of good. So.
And then Dave, how involved does the homeowner need to be after construction begins?
There's really not a lot of involvement. If it were me and I were building an Adair home, I'd want to visit if I could almost every day. But, I would But there's really not, unless you're gonna do that low voltage wiring when it's in framing, there's really not a lot for you to do. Because we take care of all the cleanup now. You're not having to worry about the cleanup during the process or the final cleaning or the painting. So yeah, there's not really a lot there.
And then do you have duplex plans?
Absolutely. We have two. We have the Harmony, which has single car garage, and we have the Pines. And they would be on our website for you to look at.
Okay. And then Dave, someone is saying Dave's price list that he just flashed does not match the website, which is correct. More than likely, you may be in a different region than we are. So at the very front page of the adairhomes.com, there's a location at the very top on the right to change your region. So you always just want to make sure you change your region and then click on the area you're considering building in, and that will have accurate pricing for your region.
Yes, I mean, there can be a big difference in building right where we're at in our area and even the east side of Oregon. There can be a big difference. So the pricing I was showing was building in my area here.
Yeah. And then Trish is saying, I actually mean regarding site development costs, or is that a separate from on-site build costs for the house? Not sure what you're meaning, Trish, but I'm thinking you're saying, how do you incorporate it all together? But again, that's kind of why you go through the process of establishing, the cost of land, site development, and house, so you can put it all together and then you can determine those costs. And hope that answers your question. If it wasn't what you were looking for, type another one and we'll do our best, please. Dave, Carol wants to know, is that ceiling height standard, or is that ceiling lighting standard? Sorry, Carol.
No, he went with the bronze package, so there was an upcharge for that. The ceiling height normally would be 8 foot. He went with 9, so there was an extra cost there too.
And then Trish, Dave says, just wanted to say the home is beautiful, great layout. Thanks, Trish. And that is a really cool. Yeah. Winchester's so nice. And then when they did the modifications that they did, it added a lot. And there's so much natural light in there. It's a beautiful home. We got about 5 more minutes and we can cut it early, but if anybody has questions, we got time for more questions. So Brian says, I live in Minnesota, looking to relocate to Newport. Do I need to be on site during this process once I have my lot, site developer, and home plan in Lincoln City? Brian, I would say no. I've helped many people that live out of state and go through this entire process without coming into the state. But obviously that's something you just want to really work with your home ownership counselor, because even that complimentary site visit, again, that home ownership counselor in Lincoln City will be able to tell you how you get that free visit, and you don't need to be present there. And then we'll still send you a report of what our construction superintendent discovered there and how to go forward with still getting all your costs and estimates together on site development. At the same time, you're working with the home ownership counselor on the specifics of the home you want and any options you may or may not want to add, and the whole budget is coming together. So any more questions? We got a couple of minutes left here.
I might say, Joe, a lot of questions were about pricing and that type of thing. So with the escalating price of homes right now, Adair Homes, we're still averaging, 20 to 25% equity once everything's said and done. So Adair Homes is a great way to go as far as having more equity when the house is done. So it is an option you should really look at.
So, yeah, 2 people, Terry and an anonymous attendee, said that we did a great job. So thank you to both of you. We appreciate that.
Appreciate you joining in.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. And then I think someone joined in late and they asked, do we help find land? So again, as Dave mentioned, each office will have particular real estate agents that assist in finding land. So just, call to your local office. Again, if you don't know which office you're building in, it's okay to call any Adair office and we'll direct you to the right office. And then we'll be able to connect you with realtors that can assist with finding land. And then we have another question. What are the options for financing a build if you have your own lot and want to build an investment home?
Well, that would be happy news, I would say. If you own your own lot, you're way ahead of most people that come into the office. They're looking for land and they got to pay for it. So you have equity in that land. So we have a lender that once you come in, we can have you talk to them, and there should not be a problem there at all, and hopefully, I never say 100% for sure, but I'm pretty sure you'd probably have a no down payment there. If it's investment land and you got enough equity, I think you'd be okay, but that would be something the lender would go over with you.
And Brian says, thank you as well. You're welcome, Brian. Thank you for, attending and asking the great questions. We appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome to. Raphael says, thank you. You're welcome. Esther says, I have a very handy carpenter remodeling member of the family. Up to what point of the time is the house for final approval if we do the finishing touches?
That is a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. The homeowner, the only thing you're allowed to do in the home, inside the home, is the low voltage wiring. You have to understand that we can't warranty other people's work. And sometimes our timeline can get really thrown off. Time is money when you're building a house. And if let's say a homeowner wants to put in their own flooring. I mean, what if their flooring is back ordered? What if the homeowner gets hurt and can't do it when we need them there? So Adair Homes builds a great home, but we don't allow the homeowner to do much inside except the low voltage wiring.
Okay. Okay, we got about 1 minute left. So thank you everybody for participating.
Yes, thank you.
I would say, just kind of in closing on our part, just if you're new to Adair or if you've just been kind of looking at our website and considering this as an option, as Dave mentioned, keep in mind there's 3 numbers in your build: land, site development, house. So whether you're still looking for land or you already have land, but you want to try to put that budget together to see what it's going to cost to build this home, contact the local Adair office. They're going to walk you through every step of establishing that budget before you ever commit to taking out a loan, before you commit to maybe even buying the land, of course, and before you ever commit to signing a contract with Adair. We'll help you put everything together. And, being in this industry for so long and meeting with literally hundreds of families in person, I have a lot of confidence that we're the only builder that actually does that. So, as Dave mentioned earlier, most builders are going to ask for some money up front, or some will even want you to sign a contract with them before they actually send the expert out to walk your property. So take advantage of Adair's option to get that complimentary site visit and establish that whole budget for you. And it just starts with a phone call to your local office. And again, if it's not the office you're going to be working out of, we'll connect you with the correct office, and then you can start that process.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome, Dave. So yeah, I think we're done, Dave. I think that's it. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining in, and until the next virtual tour, we'll sign off.
Thank you.